You can get banned in Minecraft now. No, not on a Minecraft server. In Minecraft as a whole. Well, you probably know the drill by now. And you know what is the biggest problem with all of this? I don't. They're all huge. Disclaimer: I'm not against making Minecraft a safer place for our community. I don't like this approach to it, and I'll suggest better solutions later in this video. Disclaimer 2. My arguments are based on the statement that you own your copies of video games. This statement is challenged by practical reality, but I'll explain why this statement is correct closer to the end. Also, I know my accent isn't the easiest to understand. That's why I provide subtitles for my videos. First problem. Bans are permanent, non-negotiable, and cannot be removed by support. Mojang and Microsoft? Who do you think you are? Even in the court system, where decision making is in the hands of highly trained people with tertiary education and years of law practice, even their decisions can be appealed on multiple levels. Tell me, what kind of infallible superhuman beings do you hire as Minecraft moderators? Second, but kinda links to the first one, cultural differences. I have a perfect example for you. The N-word, one that refers to black people. This word is considered hate speech in English, pretty much, but in Russian language, the N-word is a completely neutral and official way of referring to black people. It doesn't carry any hate speech in Russian because it has completely different origins in Russian. So imagine playing with Russian friends and using Russian language, and you say the Russian N-word. Totally fine in Russian. But you get banned by an American moderator because the word filter has flagged it and it translates to the English N-word. And there are numerous other examples of things which could be considered hate speech in one place but be totally fine in another. Third, differences in laws. Quote, you are not allowed to promote any manner of illegal activity. You know what is illegal in plenty of countries? LGBT. So, if you're from one of those countries, you are legally prohibited from supporting LGBT, I think. But you also cannot be against LGBT, because that would be considered hate speech by Minecraft moderators. But what if a moderator happened to live in one of those countries? Does it mean they're legally obligated to ban every LGBT supporter by the law, and those people won't be able to dispute it? Or what if you join a Chinese realm and criticize the Chinese government, which is pretty much legal in China? And you might disagree with certain laws, but it doesn't cancel the fact that they exist and get enforced. By the way, this section of EULA clearly states that the user's local laws are in effect, and they would be regardless. As you can see, there are plenty of problems which can lead to a wrongful ban, thus it requires transparency and a way to dispute a ban. And notice that they have not stated their motivation behind this decision. But at the same time, do you expect them to tell you the real reason? Which should be something like, we as a company don't want to waste our human resources on occasional false positives. They don't cut into our bottom line, but maintaining the appeal system would be expensive because most legit bans would try to get appealed as well. After all, we at Mojang don't care about people losing their Java Edition accounts in some cases during migration simply because they lost their email passwords. It is far more common than you would think. And listen, I know some Mojang developers watch my videos. This is not a personal attack on you, but if there is a better reason than cutting costs, tell us. As a regular player, I cannot think of any other calculated reason to make bans non-negotiable than saving resources at the expense of wrongfully banned players. Fourth problem: private realms and non-affiliate servers. The wording is quite vague if you can get banned for things happening in private realms or not, but judging by not being able to access them while being banned, I'll assume you can. And it pretty much seems like it. Here's the thing. People in private environments are far more willing to say things which would never be said in public because they say them to people who are okay with it. And now you say Moyak wants to police players' private environments where they cannot harm anyone anyway? Or what if I want to use tools which would be considered cheating on any public server, but everyone is fine with it if it is used in a private realm? Besides, let's say you have a bad actor in your realm. They probably have other means of communication with you. Getting them banned in Minecraft will not protect you from them. Also, here's a question. If people violate Minecraft community guidelines outside of Minecraft, should this lead to a ban too? Another example. I don't know if Anarchy servers on Bedrock is a thing, but if they are, a huge portion of Anarchy players are subject to ban already, simply because Anarchy is pretty much expected to be played with cheats, which is a big no-no according to the community guidelines. Also, what is an exploit? Is this an exploit? Is this an exploit? Is this an exploit? But wait, I know what is the actual problem. You have no control over the thing you have purchased, and it can be just taken away from you at any moment simply because some random person you have never met said so. And it is not just Minecraft's problem, it goes way beyond Minecraft and even beyond gaming as a whole. And this is why I am angry enough to make this video, because you have no control over the thing you have bought. And because this shit spreads. Yesterday it was Steam. Today it is the Bedrock edition. Tomorrow it's Hytale. Wait for a video discussing Hytale's upcoming nonsense. And the day after that, it is going to be the Java edition. I want to post a video here to address a problem with the account migration I rarely see being even mentioned. You see, this migration means that the rules of the Microsoft ecosystem are now enforced onto you even in the Java edition. That wasn't the part of a deal. Who knows if your Microsoft account won't be blocked for no apparent reason, like on Amazon and Facebook. And you don't even get a refund if you get banned. This is a whole new level because it goes outside of the game itself and potentially violates consumer rights because you probably own your copies of video games. But I'm going to leave this for the later part of the video, it is a loaded topic. At the end of the day, Moyak says that these tools are meant to help ensure that all our players can continue feeling as safe as possible within Minecraft and realms. I don't feel safe knowing that it is possible to spend a lot of money, not just a copy of the game but also microtransactions, and get it essentially stolen by a ban. And even a rightful ban is not a valid reason to withhold both the money and the product you have paid for. Being unable to play multiplayer at all, even on private servers with friends, is pretty much severely damaging your copy of a game, and on Xbox the game is completely bricked. I've heard an argument that cheaters and abusers quote-unquote deserve their money to be stolen. You see, the concept of ownership does not operate with deserve. You've paid for a thing and now you own that thing. In this case, it's a copy of Minecraft. That's it. Nobody takes your keyboard away if you type obscene words with it. You might argue that it is not how it works with video games on practice. And you would be correct. It doesn't work like that. But if an entity powerful enough would bother to enforce the law through a court, it would. And yes, technically he purchased a license to play the game, not the game itself as an intellectual property. But a license can be classified as goods as proven by this court case. This legal technicality is in place to differentiate between buying a copy to play and buying the intellectual property itself. Alright, let's talk about solutions. The best solution would be to make bans work on a per server basis and give servers the autonomy to decide who to ban and for what. Why is this good? First, If you get a ban, your entire game will not be rendered pretty much useless. This also removes the question of whether you should be eligible for a refund or not, because your game will stay pretty much intact. After all, the goal here is to make Minecraft a safer place, not scam people for money. I don't even doubt that. Second, servers are far more open to ban appeals. Depends on the server, of course, but in the worst case scenario, a wrongfully banned person gets locked from a specific server rather than the whole game. Third, if you play on private realms, you will not have to worry about moderators watching how you behave in your own closed environment. Fourth, most normal players stick to a handful of servers of their choice, which means from their perspective, when a bad actor gets banned from just one server, you will never see them again. And fifth, people can make mistakes and people can learn from their mistakes, change. And after getting banned on just one server, most people are likely to not repeat whatever led to their ban when they move to other servers. Ultimately, the proposed solution will achieve Moek's goal of making Minecraft a safer place, but it also solves the problem of you losing access to the essential part of the game, or the whole game, on Xbox. But what if Moek wants to double down on this one big family of featured servers nonsense? Then, how about making bans work on a per server basis as in the previous solution, but mark people banned on one of featured servers as suspects on other featured servers? This way, the ecosystem of affiliates will be able to take notes of people who misbehaved in the past, but a player can prove that they have learned their lesson, or if a ban was wrongful in the first place. But what if Moek wants to triple down on it and per server bans is not an option? That's anti-consumer, you know. The main problem I have with game-wide bans is not being able to play multiplayer at all, even with your friends. In that case, being able to dispute a ban is essential. I mean, it's essential in all cases, but if you'd get banned from just only one server, your game wouldn't be rendered completely broken if you cannot appeal. And you know, if Moek wants to go this route so much, I think it should apply only to featured servers. You should be able to create and join non-affiliate servers and private realms regardless of a ban. As I've said, it makes no sense to prohibit a person from using private servers which are populated by people who already know each other anyway. And yes, Moek are working on introducing temporary bans for lesser offenses. But it will make things even worse because moderators will feel less guilty when swinging their ban hammer because nobody will be directly responsible when a couple of bans will stack to a permaban. I want to clarify, while wrongful bans are utterly bad and there should be a way to dispute a ban, I think even the case of guidelines violation is not a valid reason to tamper legitimately purchased goods. Let's talk about why not getting a refund after getting banned is probably illegal. Not should be, but probably is. It is just not enforced. And while I am not a lawyer, I hope my understanding is good enough for a regular person. If there are any lawyers watching this video, I would like to hear what you have to say. Here are my beliefs. First, the amount of functionality being lost due to a ban is more than enough to consider a game being broken or severely damaged. Second, the existing consumer protection laws and regulations are enough in most countries to provide a refund for getting banned. Third, while courts do not emit laws, their job is to interpret and apply existing laws to individual cases, including completely new scenarios like this one. Fourth, most terms of service and EULAs contradict the laws and thus partially or fully unenforceable, but because nobody has challenged them in court, they just work. And you have to challenge them on a case-by-case basis. As a proof, French court has ruled that you own your video games on Steam despite Valve insisting that they sell indefinitely long subscriptions. I will use this ruling as an argument why buying a game is equal to buying any other conventional goods. This ruling is getting appealed though. And unfortunately, you have to challenge them on a case-by-case basis. You will not end up with a court ruling that says that EULAs are illegal as a concept. All of that being said means that in order to get refunds for getting banned, there has to be a class action lawsuit that would take an extreme amount of time, money, and very good lawyers that could find the legal standing for this case. One special point to mention. Because this lawsuit would likely challenge the enforceability of terms of service and EULA of a game in question, the defendant will not be able to use them as a source of rights and duties. What I'm not sure about is under which specific laws this refund should take place. It is not like video games come with long-term warranties. And they should. One could argue that the ability to lose functionality under certain conditions, which has been put in place by developers for that very purpose, can be classified as planned obsolescence, which is illegal in countries like France. Another argument one could make is that developers are tampering with your copy of a game when you get banned, which is pretty much what it actually is. It is not like a banned person can't play multiplayer because of technical difficulties. It is just an entry in a database that says that this person cannot play multiplayer. Or, if we go by the indefinitely long subscription route, the perks of your subscription change significantly in the middle of its duration when you get banned. This might be considered a reason for at least a partial refund. I've heard an argument that terms of service are pretty much equal to the instruction manual, and violating them should be considered a misuse of a product, which leads to a product being broken. However, you won't be able to use terms of service as the basis of arguments in court, because TOS themselves are likely to get challenged within that lawsuit. Another argument against this comparison is that the instruction manual prevents you from actively dealing damage to your property, while the only damage that's done to a copy of Minecraft when it is get banned is an entry in a database that can be easily removed or not being added by Mojang in the first place. A consumer cannot accidentally or even deliberately break Minecraft to the point where it cannot be repaired, and it is a matter of minutes for Mojang to repair it. And it is them who added that ability of being broken in the first place, because it is a deliberate software lock that is outside of the user's control. So, what do we do? Mojang? And there is a real chance that you're watching. I've just described what your higher-ups should do. The best solution would be to make bans work on a per-server basis and give servers the autonomy to decide who to ban and for what. As for viewers, it is hard to advise anything. While currently it is true that Java Edition accounts get suspended very rarely and these rules don't apply to it, it is something up to Mojang to change. It is something on its way to be changed. On the other hand, the Java edition is open for modification, and it is just a superior version of the game anyway. If you want to play Minecraft, play that version. Well, I can advise you to share this video and share your thoughts about this situation. If Mojang truly cares about the Minecraft community and truly values feedback as they claim to do, maybe they'll fix this nonsense. Bye bye.